Jean Cocteau was a man who genuinely admired mythology. He once said, "I prefer mythology over history. History is made of truths that end up becoming lies, and mythology is made of lies that later become truths." Cocteau favored the myth of Orpheus above all and utilized it and other Greek myths to create a mythology of his own about death and the afterlife.
The film Orpheus tells of a man who travels to the underworld to save his wife, only to encounter and fall in love with death herself. In this film, Cocteau makes direct references to the Orpheus myth and to other Greek myths such as the Argonautica to comment on death as being a mysterious realm that ultimately cannot be understood. Within this film are many references to the life of Orpheus as a recurring character in the Greek myths. The first of which is when Orpheus in the film says, "I will charm them." This is a direct reference to the Argonautica, where Orpheus plays his lyre loud enough to drown out the sound of the sirens so Jason's ship can pass by safely. In his mythological life, Orpheus not only charms the sirens, but also charms Hades and Persephone into allowing Eurydice to return with him in the myth of Orpheus. The second reference is not so direct and has less to do with the life of Orpheus. Everyone knows the iconic mirror scene from Jean Cocteau's film. The mirror appears to literally turn into water as Orpheus enters the realm of the dead. Water in Greek myths takes on the symbolism of representing death, particularly in the myth of Narcissus. In the myth of Narcissus, Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection in the water and then killed himself. In Ovid's version of the myth, Echo falls in love with Narcissus, but he ignores her and tells her to go away. As punishment, Nemesis lures him into the pool where he falls in love with his reflection, but then kills himself out of despair because his love could never be reciprocated. The myth of Narcissus shares similarities with the film Orpheus in that Orpheus ignores Eurydice in favor of his own obsessions and is punished for it by being lured by death. And in the film, even Herpes said it. But who is death in the film Orpheus? What is the land of the dead if not Hades? It certainly isn't Hades, and its depiction definitely doesn't relate to any modern beliefs about the afterlife. While we know Hades is in charge of the realm of the dead in Greek mythology, it is unclear who is in charge of the land of the dead in the film. It definitely isn't Death. Even she must obey the laws and says repeatedly not to ask questions. However, in the film, she is charmed by Orpheus into allowing him to have Eurydice and his old life back, just as Persephone was charmed alongside Hades. In Greek myth, Persephone was queen of the dead, and in the film, death is also referred to by the royal title of princess. Just as Persephone had to answer to Hades, so did death have to answer to the unknown ruler of the land of the dead. The physics of the land of the dead in the film are also very strange. The wind blows as it wishes. The dead who can usually teleport are subject to long walks and weird gravity too. In many paintings depicting the myth of Orpheus, Orpheus and Eurydice appear to be struggling against wind and long climbs. This could have inspired the scenes where those traversing the land of the dead seem to struggle. But within the film there is no actual reason given for the strange winds and gravity. And again, death repeatedly says not to ask questions. Ultimately, because Orpheus does not really know who is behind the land of the dead in the films, that unknown ruler of force is the one thing he cannot truly understand or charm.
In conclusion, we don't know for sure who really rules the underworld. The workings of death are left to mystery, and through the film we are told to not ask questions. This film stands as Cocteau's statement that no one, not even a poet, can truly know the mysteries of death and the afterlife.